VocalZoom is a company who's doing laser sensors, tiny laser sensors for many types of applications. And during the COVID time, we partnered with a company called ANC in the US. ANC is a company that provides solutions for homeland security, especially security in airports. And together we're building what we call the Pandemic Business Continuity Platform, which is the broader aspect of screening in airports. And we're already in contact with many players in the US market, including government agencies like the TSA and the Department of Homeland Security, and also working with airline companies and other entities that are related to this aviation space. So the biggest problem we see today is that there's a high need to develop sensing technologies that are, first of all, contactless and can overcome large amounts of people going through airports, checking each person in a very short time frame. But more than that, we need to have a platform that takes the business aspect or takes the process aspect in terms of the regulation in airports. One of the things we see with many customers and many agencies in the US is that there's a need for some kind of standardization in order to solve the problem. And also you want to have some kind of worldwide pandemic detection system that tells you that many people have the same symptoms, because at the end of the day, there's no one symptom that defines. And we all know that some people have fever, some don't. Some people are coughing, some don't. So it's very important to cover a very wide range of symptoms and correlate that with different people in different areas, and also manage the whole system in a way that you can calibrate that depending on the situation, whether these are normal days or pandemic days. So what we are coming up with together with ANC is actually a multi-layer platform. The lower layer is where VocalZoom is actually developing the technology side. We're providing sensors, laser sensors, contactless, that can monitor a wide range of symptoms and features related to respiratory and heart rate and fever and other types of vital signs. Everything, of course, is contactless. The detection is done within 10 to 20 seconds per person, so it allows for a very fast screening. The second layer is that we're actually creating some kind of alliance that combines us as a technology provider together with the different agencies, both in terms of sharing knowledge and sharing data in real time. It's very important to know if you're now in the mid of a pandemic, or if these are normal days. It's very important to know what's happening in other places. So there are sensor providers like us. There are also, like I mentioned, government agencies. There are the airline companies. There are the airports, who are the biggest companies to suffer from such a situation. So they have very strong incentive to cooperate. And the third layer, the upper layer, is where we actually fuse all this information and all this metadata together to make decisions that are both in the scope of the specific airport, but also in the scope of a country or a worldwide detection system. So this is a very large platform made of many components, but at the core of the platform, we have the VocalZoom sensing technology that covers a very wide range of symptoms that will fit not only for COVID, but also for other types of diseases in the future. Specifically about the first product, the phase 1, this is what you see on the screen. This is the first product that will come up in 6 to 8 months from now. And we will start deploying in airports, in selected airports in the US. The first deployment actually is not going to be in an airport. It's going to be in the Disney World gate. There's a saying in the US that when Disney goes back to normal, it means that the pandemic is off. So we're going to start from Disney. This system has VocalZoom sensors inside. It can detect different types of symptoms related to specifically COVID in the phase 1 within 10 to 20 seconds. So you can run many people for the initial screening. The installation is very simple. This is very important because we see that different airports and different situations in airports require to put the system in different locations in the airport. We are all familiar as Israelis with the fact that there are certain screening that is done at the gate for airplanes that go to Israel. So there are many reasons why to make it something that you can move from place to place, and you can install that in a very short time frame. We're capable of course, of doing contactless sensing, remote sensing, meaning that we're not touching the person. This also has a lot of implications. One part of it is security of the data and those kind of things, but the more important thing is the fact that anything that is intrusive, anything that requires special equipment or replaceable equipment like gloves and masks, everything has to be taken in account in terms of the business aspects and also in terms of the complexity working with many people in an airport. And of course, it's cost effective and safe and accurate. That's obvious. The system will cover a very wide range of symptoms, like I mentioned. Basically, the VocalZoom sensors start from sensing respiratory rate, heart rate. The sensors are also working as kind of a laser microphone to listen to sounds inside the lungs. So we can detect liquids in the lungs. We can detect, actually it's like a laser stethoscope, very similar to what doctors are using. And we're also capable of doing detection of voice biomarkers. Anything that you say, usually there are some kind of anomalies in your voice related to health conditions. This is known science, but we're going to do it much better with the laser sensors. On top of that, we're adding technologies related to hyperspectral imaging and fever detection, temperature detection. These are all off the shelf that are combined with the VocalZoom sensor. The system that we developed, this product that you saw, is actually for initial screening, meaning that we're going to identify suspects, and these suspects will go to a secondary screening, whether it's a PCR or some other kind of device that can provide a more reliable check, but it takes more time. So we're doing the fast screening for the majority of the people. But once we identify the suspect, it goes to the other technologies you're already familiar with that take between 5 to 15 seconds, to 5 to 15 minutes, sorry. We're seeing the need for these systems, not just in airports. We're seeing it, we're talking with factories like PepsiCo, for example, that expressed a lot of interest in monitoring their employees when they're coming into a food factory. The downtime that happened in airports during the last 2 months, it happened everywhere, in factories, in amusement parks. So there are many, many places where you need such systems, and our system will be adaptable in terms of price and size and mobility to many types of scenarios where you need to deploy a health screening.